Absolute value. Well, what is absolute value? Well, it's actually pretty easy. It's the distance from 0 on a number line. For example, well, the first thing you need to know is the absolute value sign. This is the absolute value sign. And our first example here is, what is the absolute value of negative 6? So how far is negative 6 from 0 on a number line? Well, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's 6 units away from 0 on a number line. So the absolute value of negative 6 is 6. Well, what about the absolute value of 4? How far is 4 from 0 on a number line? Well, it's 1, 2, 3, 4. It's 4 away from 0. So the absolute value of 4 is 4. The absolute value of negative 2. How far is negative 2 from 0 on a number line? Well, it's 2 away. Therefore, the absolute value is 2. And what is the absolute value of positive 11? How far is 11 from 0 on a number line? Well, it's 11 away. Now, what you may have noticed here is these are all positive numbers. The absolute value of a number is always going to be a positive result. Oh, and this is just a little reminder that this is the symbol for absolute value. These two are not the same thing. This is the absolute value of negative 6. This is just a negative 6 inside parentheses. And remember, the absolute value of something is always going to be a positive number. All right, let's take a look at these. Let's compare these two numbers. Now, the first one says negative 4 and 3. Well, negative 4 is less than negative 3. In our next example, we have 7 and 4. Well, 7, positive 7 is greater than positive 4. The next one deals with two absolute values. Now, the absolute value of negative 4 is 4, and the absolute value of positive 3 is 3. 4 is greater than 3, and so we'll put that symbol there. The next one, we have the absolute value of 7 is 7. The absolute value of negative 7 is also 7, so those would be equal. The next one has no absolute value signs. You're just comparing negative 1 and positive 6. And any positive number is going to be larger than a negative. Next one, we have the absolute value of negative 10 is 10. The absolute value of negative 5 is 5. 10 is greater than 5. Two more examples. The absolute value of 6 is 6. The absolute value of negative 1 is 1. 6 is greater than 1. And in our last example, it's just two negatives. And the closer to 0 with negative numbers, the larger it is. Negative 10 is less than negative 5. Now, you might see this. Sometimes you'll see a couple of different operations inside the absolute value sign. What you need to do then is carry out the operation first, such as in this example, 6 plus 2 is 8. Then you take the absolute value of whatever's inside the absolute value symbols. Okay, a couple of quick questions. What is the absolute value of negative 9? It would be 9. What is the absolute value of negative 5 plus 5? Well, the absolute value of negative 5 is 5. And then 5 plus 5 is 10. Okay, here's one where we need to do everything inside the symbols first. 10 minus 4 is 6. And the absolute value of 6 is 6. Now, which one of these statements is false? Two of these are true. Absolute value is always positive. Well, that is true. I'm actually going to write that here. The absolute value is the opposite value of a number. Now, this is a common mistake that I see kids make. They'll say, oh, that means the opposite of 6. That's not what these symbols mean. It means how far is 6 from 0 on the number line? The answer is 6. So that is not true. The last one, absolute value, is the distance from 0 on a number line, and that's exactly what absolute value is. All right, let's just finish up with 6 more examples. What's the absolute value of 8? How far is it from 0? It's 8 from 0. What's the absolute value of negative 4? That would be positive 4. What is the absolute value of 12 minus 3? Well, we do this first, then we take the absolute value of 9, and that's 9. What's the absolute value of 12 minus 4? That would be 8. What is the absolute value of 7 minus the absolute value of 7? That would be 0. And our last example, what's the absolute value of negative 6? That would be 6 plus 8, and that would be 14. So that's what absolute value is.